with Yabu. If you want to introduce yourself, how long you've been trading, and over the last 2 months, you've made close to $50,000. Last month was kind of your best month, so if you can give a little intro.
Yeah, so my name is Yabu. I've been trading for a little under 2 years now. It's been like a year and a half to be exact. But yeah, I got with Cole like at the beginning of the year, and yeah, it was a journey to be honest, but I'm excited to get this started.
Get a little introduction. You had some beginner's luck, and you actually ended up making some money. What was it, around 7 or 8 months in?
Yeah. So it was around 9 months in. I was on Apex. I had 20 accounts. I requested five figures for my first 10K payout. And immediately after that, like for a little bit of context, I ran up around like 90K of unrealized profit, right? So I didn't withdraw any of that.
Mm-hmm.
I only took out 10K, but then blew all 20 accounts. And at this point, I cooked my leg because I was playing in college sport at the time.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like God really humbled me and put me in a spot to really reflect and just kind of work through my just internal struggles, which, obviously correlates back into trading. And that's kind of where I found you and just logged back
What
in.
do you what do you think was the main like psych hit that you took that caused you to blow through that in the beginning?
Dude, I'm gonna be so honest with you. I never really thought of myself as one to have like an ego or like to
Mm-hmm.
be kind of like this big-headed person. But one thing trading will do to you, and anybody watching this video will relate to this too, is it will strip you naked and show you exactly who you are.
Yeah.
And that's exactly what it did for me. It humbled me so much because I didn't realize I had an ego. And I thought that I had to, run it up real quick. And then, like, I remember bragging to my friends, bragging to my
Mm.
closest people in my life, and that hurt me a lot. And it wasn't a good look, and I never want to go back there again. And yeah,
Yeah, so in the beginning, yeah, it's just like the casual thing. Like, whenever you really talk too much, and I feel like when you boast too much, you put that energy out there, you'll get shown really quickly how fast it can get taken away. And that's why I always try to tell people, like, please, like, remain humble. Please stay level minded. Don't think you're some, crazy, best trader in the world. And, like, not even saying that you thought that, which I know you didn't think that, but even like a slight ego. You start, boasting, you start getting that confidence, and then when that loss comes, when you start, taking some losses that you're not used to, you cannot stomach them. And I'm guessing that's what happened to you. You could not stomach those losses at all, correct? Like, is that what caused you to blow those accounts? You started on one loss and then it kind of, tiptoed from there, or what?
dude, literally, like, I would take a win, and I'd take a small loss, and I'd be like, no, you know what? I can't lose on the day. Like, and I was thinking so short term in the time, not thinking long term, knowing that my edge is gonna play out statistically speaking. And I would just take one loss after another, and then try to recoup everything until everything just blew up in my face.
Yeah. So that
Yeah.
was essentially in around March. That was kind of when you went through that. And moving forward, I remember you had to now scale back from obviously a bunch of accounts and that idea of making that P&L in your head to scaling down to only a couple just to prove that consistency. And this is where the real struggle came, and it was straight impatience. Okay, it was straight impatience, and I remember this very clearly because it wasn't necessarily the worst trades you were taking, but it was the fact that you were really trying to rush. I remember, like, specifically you had a set of evals that you really were trying to pass by like a certain date, and I just started seeing, like, trade after trade you started rushing. And, like, if you can kind of break down, what caused you to rush, like what made you feel like you had to make this profit today, or the day after, like.
Yeah. I think not enough people talk about that, where you feel, I wouldn't say I felt stuck where I was in my current at that time, but I was in college not wanting to pursue, I guess, like a normal 9 to 5, and with my parents being like also immigrant parents too, and kind of having that, I guess, background of, go to school, get a normal job, retire, all that. Like, it felt like there was a lot of pressure on me to have to, like, I wouldn't like, let's be honest, like, I wouldn't say like escape the matrix, like
Yeah.
corny like
Yeah.
that, but kind of make this work no matter what. and I was trying so hard to, in a way, like black pill trading. Like,
Hmm.
I have to make this work, like grind set mindset, no matter what type of thing, at all costs, which completely backfired, like you said. Like impatience just cooked me over and over again. And I remember specifically too, like when it started to work was when I stopped caring about the outcome and when I actually started to just get one account, scale that one account, get a payout, okay, reinvest, scale 3 accounts, reinvest, 5 accounts, reinvest, and just keep on doing that over and over again
Yeah.
because it takes a couple months, but at the end of the day, that's the tuition you're gonna pay, 3 to 5 months to do that versus 4 years of college or 10 years of trade school. Like, I'm taking the 3, 5 months all day, you know?
And the one thing I want to give some context for the viewers. So, what you were talking about scaling down to one account, that took, I think it was around 3 months, from around March to I think it was probably June or maybe, the end of May, right? You were trying to rush stuff too fast. You were trying to trade a bunch of accounts and you were essentially going nowhere. And it wasn't until you said, okay, I'm going to scale back and I'm going to take my time. Because essentially, you trying to rush it, what did you do? You wasted 3 months, right? You can't get those 3 months back, but what you can do is change and get a year in the future back that you might have wasted if you continued going down that same thing. And what do you think, like, I guess what was the thing that made you realize, like, I can't continue going down this path? Like, I have to, like, actually be patient and I have to, humble myself, scale back to one account and get employment. I don't know if you want to talk about that too. But yeah.
Dude, yeah, it got to a point where after I blew all the Apex accounts, I had a couple $1,000s left, so I had a couple, I was good, but then I just kept buying 20, 20, 20, and so I was getting rinsed. I was the method, right? And I remember so specifically, I had maybe like $200 left in my bank account, and I was like, "Okay, well, it can't get any worse than this." So I spent it all on evals, and I remember so specifically, I had like 43 cents in my bank account,
Hmm.
and I was like, "Oh, wow. Well, I guess it does get worse. Like, it does get worse than
Hmm.
this. Like, unless I make a change, things aren't just gonna magically snap back into place unless I make, like, the efforts to actually
Yeah.
change." And I mean, yeah.
I feel like that's the hardest thing to admit to yourself. And that's why it really is true that a lot of people do have to go down that dark path. They really have to kind of fuck around and find out what could happen, how much you can get humbled by the market before you realize yourself as an actual student of the market and you're like, I have to take my time because when I don't, this is what happens. And then obviously from there, you said that's kind of where you started to rebound. You ended up getting a job, right? Just to, obviously for the income, but as well to have something else you're looking forward to in the day. And how do you think that helped? And obviously going from there, how do you think that helped your mindset? Because I remember specifically you told me too, it's like, this, like, my mental has been so much better since I actually got employment. Like, I'm not really feeling the rush to trade and I'm doing a lot better. So if you can kind of talk about that.
Yeah, that's funny you mentioned that because in the beginning, I got I got so many jobs within, like, 3 months. I think I had, like, 4 or 5 jobs within that 3 months. And at one point, I was working 3 jobs at once just to get back on my feet. That really helped with my trading because I couldn't be thinking about trading all
Yeah.
the time. Like, literally, if I were to be thinking about trading on the job, I wouldn't be able to function at the job. And I noticed with this so many people too, like, obviously, now that I guess I'm profitable and I help people out too, like, I notice when somebody is all in on the charts and all they're doing is trading, they're never gonna succeed. But if you have something outside of trading that you can look forward to, in my case, it was a job that, I would go to and then go back home, change, go to the next job, and then do that over and over again. It was kind of like a day in and day out process. I was detached from trading, literally, and I like preach that all the time. Like anything but trading is the method. You do not want to be
Hmm.
thinking about trading like maybe like 1 or 2 hours a day max, but like trading is not the end all be all.
The main reason is the more you dissociate from the actual result and the more you focus on that process. Because when you got, what you were doing is you were obviously trading in the morning, and then you had other the responsibilities the rest of the day. It wasn't like trading was the only thing you had to do. It was like, hey, trading is just like my breakfast in the morning, and then I go about my day. And it's a lot easier, you got into that routine and you started actually following your rules with that routine. So like what do you think, like, at least entry wise and like trading wise, what was the thing that you ended up changing from obviously when you blew through all those accounts and then you started to rebuild back up and you started to finally see some consistency on a smaller scale? What was, did you have like a little, not like an aha moment, but like something that you're like, damn, like this is all I really had to do in the whole time?
Yeah. So on that topic, it's like I know a lot of people say like your habits outside of trading don't go back into trading, which I think is true, but your mindset outside the charts do translate back into trading in the sense that when you when you carry yourself in like a more, I guess, more relaxed type of way where you're not rushing, you don't just immediately hop out of bed and you're on the charts, okay, and then now I got to brush my teeth, go to
Yeah.
like you're not in a rush all the time versus kind of just thinking of day-to-day actions more as like you're just it's just another part of my day. Why should I stress about trading? Why should I stress about, taking like a shower at night? It's just another part of your day that you're doing, win or loss, it doesn't matter. Like the whole point of trading is to just follow your process and like that, like just taking it easy, just relaxing and like really allowing myself to relax. I think I struggled with that a lot
Hmm.
before. Really did help with my trading, like just being chill, like,
Yeah.
as easy as it sounds, like yeah.
And I mean, another thing too is like when you hit that, rock bottom point, which I assume was probably the hardest and lowest point of your life, you realize like it sucks, but it's not the end of the world. You know what I mean? Like I feel like that's what you realize. It's like it sucks, it terrifies you, it scares you, but I'm still okay. You know what I mean? So that's when you realize like, hey, maybe I should take my time because like, yeah, it sucks right now. It could get worse, but like I'm fine. Like I don't need this tomorrow. I could take months. I could take, multiple months, but as long as I know I'm making the correct steps every single day to achieve that goal, which, I don't know if you ever set like a monetary goal or if it was just like a genuine like just goal in general. It's like I want to be successful in this field and you obviously didn't focus on that goal. You just focused on, the day to day to achieve that goal. And I guess that's what I'm going to ask you as well. Starting in like I think it was like May around when you started, building back up. What was kind of like the daily routine you had? What was kind of like the way you were improving every single day? What if you can elaborate on that?
Yeah, so I think a lot of, I mean, not even a lot, every single PST or like outside of like EST, CST trader will relate to this because when you're in like a whack ass time zone,
Yeah.
like in California, you gotta wake up at market opens at 6:30, so you gotta be awake by like 6 minimum, right?
Hmm.
If you're in like Australia, it's even weirder.
Yeah.
But regardless, it's for my case, it was I mean, daily routine wise, it was pretty simple in terms of just waking up, like trying to wake up at like 5:30, just not having like a set routine where I have to be like, okay, well, grind set mindset, I'm gonna
Yeah.
work out before, do all this, do all that. No, it was more like, okay, well, I woke up, let me get some sunlight. Okay, cool. Say hi to the neighbor if they're just out and about walking, just kind of just chill and then hop on the charts, get off, go about my day. And it sounds so simple, like, and like we've both been in the spot where you're like
Hmm.
struggling to like kind of make it and like you want to make it out so bad, so you're putting in so much more effort, but
It's
like
only putting you back.
truly less is more. Yeah, literally.
And the more the funny thing about trading is the more you force it, it's just like forcing setups. The more you try to force a skill, the more you try to give yourself a certain time frame by when something needs to happen, it's not going to happen. Because I remember you were giving some time frames. You're like, I have to get, like, not even have to, but I want to get this by then, by this month, by this. And all you did was just waste those months. And it's like hard, like it's easy now when you look back and you're like, bro, I was just an idiot. But in the moment, it's so difficult. It's so difficult to realize that, hey, I should take a step. I should take a breather. It's not the end of the world. And I guess like after you went that first month where you actually followed everything, you followed your plan, was that like a relief or was that like when you started to see like, damn, this is what I just need to continue replicating with more accounts. So if you can kind of explain what that, first like initial month where it's like, it doesn't even matter that it was on one account. It was like, hey, I am following my system. I'm calmed. I'm not stressing, because I'm sure you used to stress about your trading before because you knew you would do something stupid. So if you can kind of, elaborate on that.
Dude, yeah, I remember it was on My Funded Futures before they got all the new plans.
Yeah.
It was like 1,200 bucks, nothing life changing, but I saw that amount and I was like, bro, this was the easiest 1,200 I made in my life. Literally clicking a button from the comfort of my home, stress free in the morning, win or loss, I don't care. I get off. I thought to myself like, dude, like like there's no way I'm going back. Like I know everybody says that, but it's like once you get that taste of how easy it truly can be
Hmm.
if you just allow yourself to just trust the process, as easy as it sounds, like you never truly do want to go back.
Yeah. And as you started, going from that point and then you started scaling up, do you think it was a lot easier mentally in comparison to in the beginning where you were essentially rushing your scaling too fast? You were getting 20 accounts when you kind of proved to yourself that you can't really handle it. You know what I mean? Do you think it was easier now to get back up to that point to scale back up? Knowing that all you had to do was, have that patience. And another thing I was going to say, how many setups were you taking around a week when you got that first payout and then kind of obviously going into now?
Yeah, when I got that first payout, I mean, same as it is now with continuations, it's like 1 to 3 trades a
Yep.
week, and then in a month you'll maybe lose 1 to 2 trades, if any. Like the whole point of trading is obviously to make money, right? But you preach this as well. It's like the outcome is a byproduct of you following your
System.
system and you following your process. And getting a payout on one account does not differ from getting a payout on 3 accounts, 5 accounts, 10 accounts, 20 accounts at all. It's just a rinse and repeat process where the outcome you should not even care about the outcome. Obviously, it's important
100%.
because you're trading for money, but like I think scaling in and of itself, that it you do have to be more focused to completely shut out the outcome and just focus only on the process where like that if you take good trades, the payout will come, the money will come, not the other way around. You're never gonna get the money focusing on the money
Yeah.
type of
Yeah.
thing.
It's that's honestly the most important thing, and that's the thing I try to like I try to always tell people, but whenever there's actually money on the line, it always gets to people's head. It always gets to people's head. And like, what was the thing you kind of did to try to minimize that as much as you can? Because now scaling up to multiple accounts, obviously, your P&Ls are naturally going to be higher. Like if I catch this trade, like subconsciously, but you obviously are not focusing on that. Is there something that you told yourself, every day? Is there something that helped you kind of detach yourself from that outcome?
Yeah, like to detach from the outcome, it sounds super easy, but in reality, like I think the only way to do it really is either to just fall in love with the process so much, which with trading, it's pretty hard to do because you're just looking at bars go up and down and up and
Yeah.
down. In and of itself, it's not the most like fun thing you could be doing versus like, I don't know, going to the beach or, jumping off a plane or whatever. But like, yeah, just trying to live a more, I, w- I mean, just put it simple, like a more like happy, fulfilled life. Like just, if you want to go play basketball, go play basketball. If you want to call your grandma.
Yeah.
Like stop trying to like be mad and like I guess kind of force everything in your life. Kind of just like go with the flow, be more and just kind of being more in tune with yourself, I guess. Yeah.
That's actually funny that you said that with being mad. Is that something you did struggle with? Like, were you ever mad at the fact that you weren't making money yet? Like in the beginning, were you like mad and did you felt like I deserve it, but I'm not making it? Did you go through that?
Dude, I was pissed. I, I wouldn't say every single day, but like those moments where it's like you crash out and you just dissociate the rest of the
Yep.
day. And in California, I'm done training at like 7, 8 a.m. So the rest of the day, I'm just like out of it. And my friends could tell, my girlfriend could tell, my classmates could tell. my coaches could tell, and it was such a weird time, but yeah, I didn't break any monitors, no computers broken, so
Yeah, I feel
yeah.
like now as a person, you are a very calm person, and I feel like the way you portray yourself, it definitely helps with your trading too, because you have this calm approach. You have this, hey, like it's not the end of the world. The days are going to go by. I might as well actually follow my system. And that's obviously what you did, in those last 2 months, which is finally where, the probabilities started building up exponentially. Like it wasn't like that you changed something in the last 2 months, but it was, hey, you changed it 4 months ago when you started following your plan, and now it's started to scale up to where it's like, hey, I can actually live off of this now.
Literally, and, like, one thing I wanna add on to that is, like, it sometimes is tempting to not go back to your old, I wouldn't say personality, but it's like there are times when you wanna crash out, and I think a lot of people do get that misconception that, like, once you're, like, profitable, you're never gonna feel FOMO.
Yep.
You're never gonna wanna crash out. You're never gonna just, kind of revert back to your old ways. That's never true. It's, it's a constant, I wouldn't say improvement, but it's not even a battle. It's a constant discipline of,
100%.
honing your edge and honing your character as a person to become, I wouldn't say as mature as possible, just to be the best version of yourself, which obviously bleeds back into trading and which makes you a better trader overall too.
100%, I agree. It is a constant challenge, and that's why I always tell people is to recognize, hey, when you're feeling nervous, like if you're already going to the day, you're feeling nervous, you feel like you want to trade, like recognize that mindset. Close your laptop. Go a day without trading. It's not the end of the world. You didn't miss much. You missed a day. It's not going to change anything. But that day where you have a bad psychology and you're like, nah, I'm still going to trade, or like a day you went in and you were chasing that P&L and maybe you knew that subconsciously, but instead of walking away, you end up taking that trade. Now you set yourself back weeks, right? And that's what I always try to tell people is like, as a trader, you have to recognize your emotions. You have to truly listen to yourself. And that's like the one thing too when it comes to developing discretion and the way you trade now. If you can kind of elaborate on like how important it really is to actually trust yourself and gain that confidence within your own trading, not anyone else's trading. You build that confidence through your repetitions, through you seeing the success, through you seeing what can happen. So if you can kind of go into kind of how you built your discretion and obviously like the way you're trading. um yeah.
Yeah, I'd say, like, for that, like, trading in and of itself is like it's a solo career. Yes, you can trade with other people, but at the end of the day, your ideas are your own. Your discretion is your own, and that comes with time. There's nobody that's gonna hold your hand throughout the whole entire process. And the whole point of finding a mentor to guide you and the cracks in your system and kind of put it like a stoppage on it to make sure your edge is okay. But it does just come with time. Like, discretion is it's different from everybody. Like, even if you trade the same exact model, everybody's going to see the market differently, and
Exactly.
that's okay. Like, some people like to take some setups, other people don't, and that's totally okay too. And another thing I want to mention is don't ever take signals, because I took signals when I first started trading, completely cooked.
That's
Like
the worst
that
thing.
dude, that was bad. Like, it set me off on the wrong path, but then I got back into, like, actually what trading is, which is, trading like your own style, your personality, and then it started to work out.
And
So,
that's why I always tell people you cannot trade a way that doesn't make sense to you. Like, how do you really expect to enjoy something and understand it if you don't even know why you're taking the trades? If you're taking the trades because not because you've seen them play out, you see the logic behind them, which obviously is what you piece together to take your trade now. But if you take it because someone else said it's a good setup, or because oh, it followed this mechanical model, you're never really going to have that full confidence. And that is honestly the confidence that you need to scale up, is to trust yourself with more money on the line. And the only way that trust works is it's built month by month, year by year, of just trusting yourself, reflecting back. It's like, hey, when I trust myself, I take the trade. I'm sure you have trades like that where it's like you want to trust yourself, maybe you don't take the trade, it ends up playing out, but it's like you knew you should have taken the trade, maybe you didn't trust yourself. Or examples where it's like you see a trade and you're like, hey, I know this trade is going to play out. I trust myself. I trust my edge, and you take it, it plays out. And that's kind of what you want trading to be, because I feel like that's the most calm way to go about it, where you don't stress. You don't go into every day, you're like, am I going to lose? It's like, no, you've built up that trust. You trust yourself to walk away when the conditions are not good. You trust yourself to take the trade when it's good. And I feel like that is honestly the most important part about trading. I don't know if you agree or if you have like a different opinion, but
No, literally, like trust is everything, and that comes with confidence too, and just kind of that also comes like with, I wouldn't say habits outside of trading too, but genuinely doing what makes you happy, genuinely doing what makes you feel calm. Some people are able to roll out of bed and just trade. That's fine. I personally find that I can't do that. I'm always fried when I wake up. But like, finding what works for you, and nobody is going to be able to tell you, that's between you and God. You have to find that out for yourself and then just applying that to the charts. And it's calm.
100%. And that's honestly one of the best things you could have said, because a lot of people search for answers everywhere, but where they actually have to face them is you looking at yourself, you reflecting on yourself. That's where the answer is going to be. At the end of the day, it is you taking those trades. It is only you're doing. Like, you can only truly blame yourself. It just comes down to, hey, do you want to accept that? Do you want to face that? Or do you want to make a bunch of excuses and not actually face the issue? And that's, a struggle for a lot of people. But I guess like moving forward, what I was going to say, what is your kind of mindset now? Obviously that you're making some money. Last month was your best month ever if you want to, show the people. But
Mhm.
essentially, and like not from like a, egotistical perspective, but essentially, what do you do now day to day that keeps you level minded?
On a day to day, I mean, it is, I wouldn't say it's anything like specifically that I do. It's more of a mindset of just being recognizing if I'm feeling stressed and then taking time out of my day to, do something that I enjoy doing that I don't have to like stress about. Like I can go on a walk any time of the day because I only work till like noon in California because market opens early. And then like I can, do whatever I want, just make sure that my mental is okay. And I think a lot of people struggle with that, like feeling like you have to do something, like almost feeling entitled to work in and of itself. Like, yes, hard work is good, but being, I wouldn't say addicted to hard work, but like being busy is a virtue type of thing, which in and of itself may be true in some aspects of life, but especially with trading, less is always more, and you can't overdo it.
100%. And I guess like now, I know you were mentioning your parents before, how you also, have immigrant parents. How was that kind of you going about telling them? Was that a battle in itself? If you want to get into that, because for me, it definitely was. It was a little struggle, but
Dude, yeah. I remember when I told my parents about, I haven't told them anything about my trading. I called them and I was on the phone with them for 3 hours each, and yeah, that was an incredibly like heartfelt conversation. I had to pour my heart out. Um, yeah, and it wasn't easy. It was hard telling them, hey, I'm not going to continue college because I want to pursue trading, and I've had some results before, just not the kind of results that I can live on my own. So, and I'm extremely grateful. I'm so blessed to have the type of parents that allowed me to move back into pursue trading, and I'm gonna be moving out in a month or two now, which is a blessing in and of itself. But yeah, it was a struggle, especially being around them in the house. But you just gotta keep pushing no matter what type of thing.
so I feel like it's, better to ask for, what is it, forgiveness than acceptance or whatever. I don't know if like, I don't know how that conversation went for me. Like it was more of like they didn't really ever kind of accept it in the beginning, but they were willing to give me a shot. That's what I kind of, made the deal with my parents. I was like, let me move out. Let me see how this year goes. Let me see what I can do with myself. Let me prove to you guys that this is real. You know what I mean? And they were like, okay, that's fine. You can take, a year off of college. Obviously now I'm not going to be returning, but I feel like that's kind of, you know, not everyone's parents are going to accept. Some people are going to have a worse time than others. Some people, like parents, like really do not accept it at all and never will. And it's really hard. It's really hard to do that. I know when I was talking about with Antonio, he said his parents like never really actually accepted it, even though he's extremely successful now. They still don't really accept it. They don't really talk, and it's unfortunate. But at the end of the day, it's not something that you can control. You can only do your best. You can only lay down the facts and say like, hey, like this is what I want to do. It is my life. Obviously, it's not like you had that big of a problem. You said they were, able to let you kind of move back in, and they, are, I'm guessing, somewhat supportive now. But it's something that you just have to, again, you can't live for someone else. You have to go about it. You have to, at least try. And, it's a difficult thing, especially when it's your family that you love very much, and their opinions, like, they are going to affect you. You are going to, listen, but at the same time, like you truly deep inside know, like, hey, I can do this, and that's what obviously you're going to be doing now. You said you plan on moving out in around a month, 2 months to your own place. Are you excited for that? Like, how are you feeling about that? Because it's definitely a big progression. I know when we were on this video with Tyler when he moved into his own place in Florida, it was definitely really excited, and I was really proud of him. Like seeing like it's crazy to see it. I literally went down to see him, and I'll probably be coming down to California to see you in a couple of months too. But how do you have what's your mindset towards that?
Dude, honestly, I it's hard to describe, honestly. It's not something I'm I'm not yeah, it's hard to even talk about because I don't wanna develop an ego about it,
No, 100%. It's
but
and I don't
it's
want you to do that. And like that's what I've seen. Like you're not one to boast, and like that is not what I'm trying to do on here as well. Like at all. I think the mindset you have right now is the best possible mindset because you truly are grateful for the position you are. You truly are staying humble, and I feel like that's the best thing you can have. It is, in my opinion, just a really good feeling knowing that, hey, like I'm going out there, in the world by myself, supporting myself with something that I actually enjoy doing. And I feel like it's more of just like a blessing, not saying like it's a feeling like a crazy, like excited feeling. It's more of like not even a relief, but it's like I knew I could do this. It's really just I had to follow this plan. I really had to trust the process, and like I guess like that's essentially what I was kind of going for. But
no, literally, like, submitting and surrendering yourself to the process and, like, just completely like, letting go that, like, it's really not up to you and, I yeah, it's a journey, man. It's interesting.
like I try to take my life, day to day, calm, knowing that I'm improving a little bit every day. I'm guessing that's what you're doing too. So I kind of feel stupid for asking that, but um,
Dude, I mean, let's be real. I think when you're ambitious, it's like you're always gonna have like these grandiose dreams, like want to do like everything and all these things all at once, which is amazing. But like you said, it's like taking it day by day and like truly appreciating like what you have in this moment while also like striving for better and greater things. Finding that like fine line is always going to be a challenge, like no matter what level you're at, because you never want to be too ambitious and leap too far, and you never want to be, just a lazy like bum at the
yeah.
same time too. So
100%. No,
I
I
think
mean, I
it's like,
definitely agree with what you're saying. And for the people watching this is honestly the exact mindset that you want to try to develop, completely detaching yourself from the result. I guess like the last thing to end off on, what advice would you have if you were watching this again when you were in that lowest point of your life, and not even in that lowest point, a bit before it happened? What would you tell yourself that would help you think prevent that, or do you think it couldn't have been prevented?
I'd say I think it can be prevented, but you have to be humble and you have to drop your ego, which for most people, including myself, I couldn't. And so God did it for me, right? It's either you humble yourself or God will do it for you, whatever that may be, right? And if I could give one piece of advice, it honestly, it just be to pray. Just pray in whatever way that may be for you. Like you don't have to get down on your knees and talk at all. You don't have to do that if you don't want to, right? But in whatever way works for you, find something that helps you develop trust and faith in the process, right? Because there will be days where you don't keep the promises you made to yourself, right? Everybody has those moments where you mess up, but you have to have trust and faith and confidence in something outside of yourself, whether that be your process or God or whatever other thing you want to have. But yeah, just be calm, just chill.
That's honestly the best piece of advice. I think that ego is the killer of most traders, and I've seen it happen where people will make money that is undeserved. Maybe breaking their rules. The ego will get to you. They won't listen. I remember a specific guy blew through a lot of money because he did not listen. He did not step away. He did not want to pay himself out. Ended up putting himself in a lot of debt. But I feel like that's the biggest thing. And again, like I really want to try to get this through everyone. If you do not humble yourself, I promise you, someone else is gonna humble you. You will get humbled. You will get humbled by life and God, and that is going to look a lot worse than if you accept it and saying, hey, maybe I should humble myself before things do get worse. And I feel like that's the best advice I can give for most day traders or people that are aspiring. I see so many people that have egos when like for what are you really gaining? Like what are you gaining? It's not like people like people with egos. Like I feel like whenever I personally meet someone now, like the way they portray themselves depends if I'm going to be friends with them or not. So I feel like that's the best life advice and literally just in general advice. Um, Again, the goal with you being on here, Yabu, is not for you to, obviously, as you guys can see, it's not for him to boast. It's not for him to, not for me to boast about, success, because the second you boast too much, you see it gets taken away. The goal is really to show you like, this is what the process looks like. This is all you have to, repeat. You want to get in this correct mindset, the results will come. You know, that is the ultimate, conclusion that I'm trying for everyone to, reach and understand, because if not, the way you're going to understand that is not going to be pretty. It's not going to be pretty at all. But that's pretty much that. I don't know if you have some, any last words that you wanted to say, but kind of got through what I wanted to say.
Yeah, that pretty much does it.
All right. Hope you guys, enjoy this little video. If you guys want to follow Yabu, I'll drop his YouTube in the comments, and I'll catch you guys on the next one. Peace.